Hey guys, what's up? This is Matthews Media once again, and welcome back to another cooking video. I'm on a roll with these, aren't I? And it's on another Bluey themed food item. This is actually the one I wanted to do first. I originally wasn't going to do the Shadowland cupcakes, but I figured I might as well do that because my attempt of making this recipe was an absolute disaster. I did it on camera, and by the end of it, I was just so stressed out. It kind of ruined my day because I wanted to get it right, and I wasted money on ingredients that I just completely wasted. But I did attempt this a third time. My mom came over and helped me. Yeah, the fact that I'm getting my mom to help me with things, and I'm 23 years old, and I live by myself. But you know what? It was absolutely worth it in the end. Anyways, like I mentioned before, this is another Bluey themed recipe. As if you've never heard of Bluey, you probably haven't heard of this recipe. This is a type of recipe we don't get in America. I mean, sure, there are American-themed recipes for this particular item online, which is how I'm doing it. But, well, of course, that being Pavlova. This is a special type of dessert. It's like a cake, but there's a big difference. There's no flour, so it's gluten-free if you're on like a gluten-free diet. And there are eggs in it, but just the egg whites. There are no yolks. So yeah, Pavlova is actually a very unique recipe. It's crunchy on the outside, but it's very creamy on the inside. So yeah, it relies heavily on sugar and egg whites. Those are the two main ingredients, and doesn't really have a whole lot of other ingredients you put in other than just fruit that you put on top of it. And of course, this was in a Bluey episode, and it was referenced in multiple other episodes later on. It's kind of a difficult recipe to make because it requires just the right amount of ingredients, plus you need specific items like, I think the biggest reason I messed up last time was because I used a whisk instead of a mixer that you used to beat eggs with, because that's the main thing that you had to do. You had to beat the eggs, so yeah, I think that was pretty much because I almost got this right the first time I did this, but the fact is, it's not an easy recipe to make. But after making it a third time, and actually knowing what to do right, it's actually not as difficult as it seems. So yeah, Pavlova, I have tried it before, it's delicious, so of course, you know, I wanted to try again with this recipe, and hopefully I'm not gonna mess it up. If I did mess it up, you wouldn't be watching this video. Now, this recipe actually can be found on the Bluey themed cookbook right here. Apparently, its difficulty rating, or as Bingo says, difficult. It's actually not that hard, apparently. Now, here's the thing though. The recipe book actually doesn't tell you how to make the meringue or the Pavlova base. It only just tells you really how to decorate and make like the cream part of it. However, you can look up this recipe on the Bluey website, but even on the website, it was kind of hard for me to make it from there because it requires a specific sugar that isn't even available in America. It could be substituted for another type of sugar, which I couldn't even find. However, I found a recipe that only requires whatever type of sugar, specifically the regular type of sugar that you use. So yeah, it's going to be difficult, but I am going to tend to do this because honestly, I would do anything for Bluey. That's kind of weird, but I love it so much. Why else did you think I have an entire Bluey themed room? It's weird. Maybe I just like being weird. I don't know. But of course, I'm going way too long with the introduction once again. Let's get into it. Let's make ourselves some Pavlova. Now, before we start making the base, you want to get yourself some parchment paper, and you want to get yourself something round, maybe around like 9 inches. I think this might be a little less, but I've used this before, so it won't really matter. But you want to draw a circle around the parchment paper because that, of course, is where you're going to be putting the Pavlova. And it isn't just me doing it. I've seen many people do this, so yeah, that should be good. Oh yeah, and just in case, you may want to flip it over just so the Pavlova isn't touching the pencil part, because you don't know what's in that stuff. Next, you want to preheat the oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 150 Celsius, you know, if you live in other countries. Now, obviously, first thing you want to do is wash your hands. Then you want to take 4 large eggs, and you only want to put in the egg white. So what I recommend doing, because you know sometimes when you never know when egg yolks are gonna break when you're like cracking it on the bowl. So I recommend getting like, I don't know, a piece of silverware and just tap it like that. And then you can try doing this any type of way, but I recommend washing your hands really good and just trying to take that egg yolk out. You do not want any egg yolk in, because if even a little drop gets in it, then it's gonna mess it up really badly. Alright, so yeah, that's 4 large egg whites. Now, let's bring it over to the table because we have other ingredients that we need to put in it. Okay, so like I mentioned before, you're going to need 4 large egg whites, which we got. 1 cup and 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, first things first, you're going to want to beat the egg whites, so you want to do that by stirring it up. You want to make sure that the egg whites get nice and foamy. So yeah, once they're foamy enough, then we want to start adding in the sugar. I recommend putting it on low. Alright, that should be good and foamy. Now you want to add the sugar in 1 teaspoon at a time until it gets nice, thick, and glossy. Alright, yeah, it's getting there. When it's getting to the point you are almost done with the sugar, like, yeah, when it gets hard to put the teaspoon in, once it gets to like a point where there's like little to no sugar left, then you can just dump the rest in. But yeah, this is looking way better than when I attempted to do this first time on camera. So yeah, when you have like that much left, then yeah, I recommend just dumping the rest in. Alright, so now you want to carefully add in the other ingredients. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and you want to mix it in as you're doing it. Then the 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and then the 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. This will really thicken it up, even though it's already thick enough. And there you go. That is some fine meringue right there. Even though it's not meringue yet, it's just the batter. But yeah, I think we're ready to put this batter on the pan. Okay, so just in case your parchment paper is sticking out, I recommend putting a little bit of that batter onto the base or onto the parchment paper to have it stick. So now that the batter is thick enough, we can make the meringue. And unlike the last time I tried making the base, this is how it happened. That's it. I give up. I give up. Yep, it was just flat as a pancake when it's actually supposed to be like this. Oh yes, that is not thin in the slightest. So you just want to take that meringue and you just want to wrap it around, just smooth it or just rub it around and fill in that hole right there. It doesn't need to be like super tall because this isn't like cake. This is I'm not sure what exactly you call this. A cake-like dish. So yeah, let's just continue putting this in. Try smoothing out the edges too, and try just patting down in the center to make like a little like hole, not too deep, but yeah, you're mostly going to be putting the stuff in the center, so just, you want like a deep center, but not too deep. So yeah, you can do this other ways too. You can make like mini little pavlovas. So yeah. Okay, so just gonna get the edges. Just put in that center like that. And yeah, okay. Now it's time to put this in the oven. You want to leave it in for about an hour. Alright. I think with all that, I think I'm actually going to succeed at this. On camera. Alright, and once that thing is out of the oven, we're going to let it cool for like, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe. Because we're going to be adding, well, I'll show you in a little bit, but every time I look up recipes for Pavlova, like on YouTube in terms of YouTube videos, most of the comments I see are just Bluey. Like, is anybody else here because of Bluey? I literally just came here because of Bluey, because yeah, that's pretty much how most Americans found this recipe. So yeah, so we're gonna be decorating it, though one thing we are not gonna be using, because that's just weird, is, well, tomato sauce, or ketchup if you live in America. Yeah, I'm just putting that out there because, well, I should probably mention it. Even the cookbook mentions things that you do not need while making this. Alright, once the pavlova is done cooking for an hour, I know the center isn't like fully deep, but you know, that's okay. It doesn't, that's usually just an option, just like, you know, but it's probably the best way to make it easier to put the decorations on. But yeah, I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit. I'm probably gonna eat something before while I let this cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna go do that. You just want to make sure that it's nice and hollow. The cracks they're normal, though it might fall apart a little bit. But when you cut it open, it should be nice and crisp. So yeah, just don't worry. It's not too hard, and it's very light and fluffy on the inside. So yeah, it should be absolutely perfect. Well, not perfect, but well enough. Alright, I got the pavlova right here. Now it is nice and cool, and it is now time to decorate. Now, you can use any type of fruit for this. The best or the most popular fruits to put on this are strawberries, blueberries, and kiwi, and mango if you want. I'm not really a fan of kiwi. I don't know, I just never really liked it all that much. But it really doesn't matter what kind. Like, you could put bananas on it if you want, but I'm going to be decorating it with blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries. And they did add this in the show, so I might as well add as well sprinkles. So yeah. Oh yeah. Also, of course, you want some whipped topping. Australians use this thing called double cream. Of course, you can use or try whipping up heavy cream. I messed up with that badly. Not recently, but when I tried it the first time. So yeah, you could just cheat a little bit and add some whipping cream. Or some yogurt too, like it really doesn't matter. But anyways, let us decorate this. Yeah, this looks like it's gonna turn out really well. You really just want to cover up the center, like you don't need to frost the entire thing or whip the entire thing like a cake. Just mostly the middle. So yeah, this is reduced fat cream, so yeah. Shouldn't matter what type of whipped cream it is, so yeah. Alrighty then, that looks like it should be enough. Now let's add some strawberries. Of course, you want to wash your fruit as well. I did, so. Okay, this is gonna be entirely random, but I don't know. I just wanted to do that because it's cute. I could just rinse that off. Alright, and finally, I'm going to add a dash of sprinkles. And with that, I think it is complete. And voila, it is done. Just look at that. That one, I think it's better if I show it like this. The sprinkles, I never actually put it on with sprinkles. I didn't know you could put it on with sprinkles, but it's a dessert, so that makes sense. But yeah, just look at that. I did not expect to ever attempt this the right way, but I did it twice. So yeah, chances are if you're a massive Bluey fan, you attempted this as well. But yeah, I recommend this for anyone, even if you're not into Bluey. This is something that I recommend trying. It's delicious. It is very fluffy, crunchy, crispy, and I know I should be eating it right now, but I'm actually not going to be eating this. This is actually for somebody else. So yeah, I just wanted to, but you know, if you want to see me eat it, I do have a short of me actually tasting Pavlova. It's the exact same recipe, so it doesn't matter which version it is. So it doesn't really matter whether if it's this or let me just show you the short. I'm not gonna lie, I could eat this all day. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. I'm gonna put a link in the description to the recipe that I made for this video. So yeah, just check it out. It's very easy to follow. You could use this with any type of sugar as long as you know which recipe. But of course, if you live in Australia, you can always go to the Bluey website because they have the Pavlova recipe as well. I did attempt that, but of course I didn't have the right sugar. But yeah, anything is better when it involves Bluey because yeah, like I mentioned before, you probably never heard of this until you've heard of Bluey. So yeah, if you live in America, that is. But yeah. Okay, I'm just going to save this for now because, yeah, and I'm not, like I mentioned before, I'm not going to be eating this because, well, I still have leftover butterscotch cinnamon pie from when I made the Undertale pie video, so, yeah, but expect more recipes, and chances are this is not going to be my last Bluey-themed one, so if you're not a fan of Bluey, I'm sorry, but, yeah, I want to get a cookbook that has like multiple different recipes from different types of shows and movies. I might, because you know, Barnes & Noble is, I have so many Barnes & Nobles near me, so I can always check that or I can look it up because, yeah, this is something I do want to do for my channel, but I'm always going to be reviewing movies, so don't worry. I know the new Bad Boys movies is coming out, so I will be reviewing that. I got so many movies to check out this month. Inside Out 2, Quiet Place Day 1, and I know there's plenty more, so yeah, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Ward out.